Sitting up here, you know what I mean? Yeah. Straight up hoodie. What's on cut? Ooh, just stepped out the phone booth. There we go. Most High in Christ. All right, clap it up. You know what I mean? Shalom. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Baruch to the brother. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Yahweh to the sisters. You understand? So lock here for the delay. You know what I mean? We had a little technical things going on. Just had to make sure everything was set up right and everything so we could bring this broadcast to you live, direct, full effect. You know what I'm saying? So, as usual, Isupk, Durham, North Carolina, police officer 50,001 holding it down. You know what I'm saying? And this is the Monday night history class, Isupk Durham. You know what I mean? Isupk stands for Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You know what I mean? Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, USA. You know what I mean? And what we do in this school, man, we teach the truth according to the Bible. That blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? And that the man who is oppressing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you know what I'm saying, in this land, all across the world, that person, that man is the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? And so, today, since, you know what I'm saying, since we're a little pressed for time, because, you know what I mean, it took us a little while just to get into it, but we're going to jump right into the class. So, like, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. Don't worry, Cap. I learned my lesson. I ain't going to throw them shades on. I'm just let them sit there. No sweat. We're going to jump right into today's topic. And what's today's topic? Ooh-wee. Got to talk about the sisters, man. Got to talk about the sisters. Well, let me not say talk about the sisters. It's more like we got to talk about this system. I was watching a movie earlier. This is a dumb question. Who ever seen The Matrix? Everybody's seen The Matrix, right? Everybody's seen that. It's a classic. You know what I mean? It's a movie I always love the reference. You know what I mean? It's just well done. But watching that, and you got to understand that this is a system that we live in. We live in a system that was not designed by us and was not designed for us. Okay? So with that being said, you know, a lot of things that seem inherent to us, it seems regular, you know what I'm saying? It seems natural. It seems like this is how we're supposed to live. It seems like this is how we're supposed to view ourselves. You know, and not just how we view ourselves, but how we conduct ourselves, how we move in this system, the things we go through. Some things just seem natural to us, right? Some things just seem normal to us. They seem like this is the way, but that's just what it is. You know, you go, you work your 9 to 5, and you know what I'm saying, and you work to your certain age, then you retire, and you know what I'm saying, you have a couple of kids along the way, and you get married, and you do this, and you sign this, and you pay your taxes, and you know, all those things. And it just seems normal to you. Well, the fact of the matter is that all of that is in place for a reason. You know what I mean? None of this is by accident. None of this is a mistake. You know what I mean? And what we do in the Isupk, since we're all about teaching the truth according to the Bible, we peel back the layers, man. We peel back the layers of the lies, man. We pull back the, you know what I mean, the veil. We pull back the veil on this world. We expose, to use the reference I just used, we expose the matrix. We show you that you're living in the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Remember, at the end of the matrix, what happened? At the end of the Matrix, if y'all didn't see it by now, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it, the movie 20 years old. At the end of the Matrix, what happened? He got, you know what I mean, he died and came back, and what did he see after that? What did he see? What was so different about Neo after he woke up, after he got shot in that hallway? Anybody remember? What was the main, there's a lot of things that was different from him. Number one, he was poor, it's like he was busting ass. But yeah, that
he was blind.
No, not the first one.
Oh, you talking about the first one?
The first one, yeah. Oh. At the end of the first one, he gets shot in the hallway, he wakes up. What was different about him? At one point, they showed us what Neo sees now. What did he see?
He saw the matrix. He saw the outline, the data, or the
code.
The code, right?
Right. He saw the matrix code. He no longer saw door, wall. He no longer saw what they were presenting. He was able to see through that and see the actual code of the matrix. And because he could see the code, what was he able to do? Manipulate the code. He was able to do things, you know what I'm saying, before that he couldn't do. You know what I mean? He was able to select you. 1 second. Select you. Let's share this. Oh, by the way, make sure you share this video. You know what I'm saying? On your Facebook, on your YouTube, all of that. I think let me share it right now. Select you. But yeah, so what he saw was the matrix code. And because he saw the code, now he was able to, you know, utilize the code. He was able to play with the code in such a way that allowed him to do impossible things, man. And that's what we do in the Isupk. In the Isupk, under Commander General Yohana, we look past the veil. Look past the veil, so that way we can start to break it down. That way we can start to teach to the people, you know what I'm saying? And get you out of it. Get you out of the matrix. You know what I mean? And one of the main tools that they use against Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is our ignorance in certain things. We don't know certain things, and because of that, we'll accept certain things. We'll accept it, because we don't know any better. You know what I mean? So I just want to put this post up. There we go. Most high guys. Smooth. All right. So, because we don't know better. So, something as simple as marriage, right? That seems really regular. It seems really simple. You know? But what if I told you that everything you ever thought about marriage is a lie? Everything you were ever taught about marriage is a lie. You know what I mean? Every assumption that you had about what entails a marriage. What does it mean to be married? You know what I mean? Especially in this place. Nowadays, Salakia, in this place, marriage it can be a man and a woman. It could be two women, be two men. Damn near it could be a man and his you know what I mean, his golden retriever. You know what I'm saying? A woman and her pet duck or whatever the hell she got. I don't know. But that's the direction in which all of this is going. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that should tell you something right there. So let's get a little bit, first let's give me a scripture. Give me Matthew chapter 15 and verse 17. We're going to get into these scriptures to get into this history and break down the truth according to the Bible about marriage, man. And find out the thing that all your life, what you thought marriage was, you know what I mean? We're going to find out if that's in the Bible. Okay? So let me know when you got that, brother.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 17. Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out.
Oh, Salaki, hold on. Wait, let me see something. Let me get that with you. Make sure that's the one I want. Bear with me. Oh, Salaki, Matthew chapter 5, not 15. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17.
Yep, that's the one.
In red it says, think not that I am come to destroy the law.
A very simple thing that every Christian can't seem to comprehend. A very simple, written, documented statement by Christ, by the person that they claim to follow, is what?
Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
This was said 2,000 years ago by who you call Jesus Christ, and in Hebrew we know it's Yahushua HaMashiach, right? He said out of his own mouth, think not that I am come to destroy the law. And yet, you know what I'm saying, our people in the Christian church, Roman Catholic Church, Protestants, all of this, cannot seem to grasp this simple thing that he said very directly. There are some things in the Bible that are metaphoric, that are figurative. There are some, what did Christ call them? There are some parables. This is not one of them. Read that from the top up.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Christ said, don't think I'm coming to destroy the law. Like, just put that out your mind. Go ahead.
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets. I didn't come to destroy the law. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I didn't come to destroy that, and I didn't come to destroy the prophets. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job. I didn't come to destroy none of that. Go ahead, brother, read.
I am not come to destroy.
That's not what I'm here for. He's giving you a mission statement. He's giving you a very direct expose of what he's here to do. I'm not come to destroy. Go ahead.
But to fulfill.
But to do what?
But to fulfill.
I come to fulfill, right? Because a Christian will tell you what? Whenever you bring up something about that law, whenever you start talking about, oh, well, is that biblical? According to the Bible, such and such. And you say, well, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to eat no pork. And what do? You go in the Bible where it says don't eat pork. And they say what? What do they say?
Just pray over the pork and then you can eat it.
They say that, but in conjunction with you reading it out of the Bible, what will they tell you why what you're reading is not, oh, well, you reading?
They'll say that law was only for those people, the Jews, or that law is null and void.
Right. They say, oh, what you read? Oh, you're reading out the Old Testament. Don't you know we got a new covenant? Don't you know that Christ came, the blood of Jesus? That's what they say. Christ came. We don't got to worry about that no more, brother. You know what I mean? It's not about eating what you eat. It ain't about that. Notice it's never about what you eat, but it's still about paying the goddamn tithes. That's what it's still about, though. It ain't never about that pork chop or that crab leg or that lobster tail. That's Torah. That's fine, right? Christ came to change that, but he did not come to stop you from having to pay tithes. You understand? That's hilarious to me. Go ahead and read that.
But to fulfill, verse 18. For verily I say unto you.
For verily I say to you. So he came back not to destroy, but to fulfill. What does fulfill mean? If he's saying, I didn't come to do this, I actually came to do this, then it sounds like they're kind of opposites, right? So let's look it up. Let's look up the definition of fulfill. It says, bring to completion or reality, achieve or realize something desired, promised, or predicted. The second definition, to carry out. To carry out, to carry it out, to do the thing. Please, brother, if you can, one more time, read it from the top of verse 17, so our people can get it nice and clear, so they can see it right in front of their face. We're never going to stop arguing about this because they want to be. That's why the Bible says, "How long do you love simplicity?" They want it. You know what I mean? They don't want to get it because they love Joe's Crab Shack, because they love the barbecue spot. They love, you know what I'm saying, the pork ribs. Love them. So no matter what we say, no matter how much you break it down, it's not going to make, you know what I mean, you can't make a zebra change the stripes. They're going to do what they do. But read that from the top so that way they can't claim that the Isupk is lying.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet.
Read.
I am not come to destroy.
I did not come to destroy it. I just told you. Think not that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy it. Go ahead.
But to fulfill.
But to do what?
But to fulfill.
but I came to fulfill it. According to the definition we just read, I came to carry it out. I came to make it, bring it to fruition. Read on.
Verse 18, for verily I say unto you,
Truthfully, I'm telling you the truth right now. Go ahead.
Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the Lord till all be fulfilled.
One jot or one tittle shall not pass from the Lord until all be fulfilled. These things have to be made real. It has to be realized. And none of it is going away. It said until heaven and earth pass. And last time I checked, heaven and earth is still here. And it's going to be here. So guess what? We still have to adhere to these laws. And we still have to adhere to the, you know what I'm saying, to the prophets. And what the prophets told us, it trumps anything else. Okay? Now I gotta send you an article real fast. First, I'm gonna send you this one, right? You're gonna read like the first paragraph and a half, so to speak. And then I'm actually gonna read a third article myself. You don't gotta worry about that. All right, so I just sent you one. Now I'm gonna send you the second one right here.
Okay, I just received one.
Yeah.
This one is Augustine Laws on Sexuality. Okay, I got that one.
Let's see. Oops, so you got the Augustine one, and then I need the Julian.
Yeah, good. So I can learn some of the purpose behind some of these laws. So like why they did this shit, you know, like this, you know?
Hold on. Let's see. Go ahead and read the one you have first. Let's just start off with that so we can get a little background. So right now what we're reading about is the history of what they call monogamy, right? Because understand something. It is not unlawful for a man to have one wife. A man can have one wife. That's Tawab. That's not a problem. No one is going. People want to say that UPK is all about multiple. You can have one wife, brother. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like Salakia, I don't care if you have 0 wives. You know what I mean? Unless you want more, unless you want one, that's on the brother. But it's not unlawful to have one wife. It is also not unlawful to have 0 wives. It is also not unlawful to do what? Read my mind, brother. It's not unlawful to have one wife. It's not unlawful to have 0 wives. It's not unlawful for you to have multiple wives. And I can't tell you that because then I'd be lying, which would be a sin. I cannot tell you it is unlawful to do something that is not unlawful, right? If a brother wants one wife, if that's what he really wants, Most High in Christ. That's his decision to make. The problem that we're talking about is the model of marriage as it was presented to us, as we grew up believing in, the model of marriage that actually ruined your family. You know what I'm saying? The model of marriage that has, you know what I mean, that has little black kids never knowing their fathers. You know what I'm saying? That model of marriage where, oh, your father couldn't be with that woman because he already had a woman or something like that. That is Roman custom. It is not Israelite custom, okay, at all. Understand? That's not to say that every brother had more than one wife. When we say it's not Israelite custom, is that the legally mandate that a man can only have one wife at a time, right? Or to put legal sanctions or legal boundaries on how many wives a man can have. That is not Israelite custom. That's what we're saying, to put it plainly. That is something that started in ancient Rome. Okay, so go ahead and read what you got, brother.
The Julian marriage laws. In 18 BC, the Emperor Augustus turned his attention to the social problems at Rome. Extravagance and adultery were widespread. Among the upper classes, marriage was increasingly infrequent, and many couples who did marry failed to produce offspring. Augustus, who hoped thereby to elevate both the morals and the number of the upper classes in Rome, and to increase the population of native Italians in Italy, enacted laws to encourage marriage and having children. Lex Julia D. Maritatis.
No, you good. You gotta read all that.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Including provisions establishing adultery as a crime.
Right. So we see what's going on. So Augustus started to introduce laws. This is back in ancient Rome. Augustus, because he was seeing that there was issues in the social structure with marriage, started to introduce laws to purposely start to limit marriage, right? People weren't having kids, marriages were falling apart. He wanted to, in his European society, he wanted to make it flourish more. And one way that he thought he could do that was by making what they call adultery, or by, better yet, changing what constituted adultery, so to speak. Okay? So now, I'm going to send you one more. If I can just find it. I don't want to read it from there. Let's see, will this work? Let's see, Slovakia. Oh, it's one of the ones that won't open up. Good night. I don't want to read it from the wiki page, even though I think the wording is similar. Brother, while I look for this, give me Exodus 22 and 16. Give me Exodus 22 and 16 real fast.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 15.
Yeah, go to 16.
Verse 16. And if a man entice a maid.
If a man does what?
Entice a maid.
So in the Bible, this is what marriage is, right? So we're going to first establish what the Bible, in our history, what the actual definition of what marriage is in the Bible. Go ahead.
If a man entice a maid.
A man entice a maid. What does it mean to entice? What does it mean to entice? Because for some idiot who thinks that somehow you can rape somebody, and my brother broke that down beautifully last week, that is not, that's ridiculous, and that's not marriage. Rape was a crime, punishable in ancient Israel. That is silly and sick, okay? So give me the definition of entice.
To convince or to persuade.
Damn,
I know it too, man.
Give me the modern definition.
Let me look it up.
No, but I want you can give me like the Webster's definition, but give me the definition a black man would give. When a black man entices a maid, most I give you something in, brother. Like, that's really what it is. Enticing the maid is not some mystical thing. He didn't have some magical elixir. He spit that game. That's all it is. That's all that means. And if you look at the Webster's definition of entice, it says attract or tempt by offering pleasure or advantage. That's all it is. You're telling the sister to make your next move be your best move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's go do this. You're looking, you know what I'm saying? You're looking good. Like, you know what I mean? You spitting that game, spitting that G. That's what it means to entice a maid. Go ahead, brother.
That is not betrothed.
That is what?
That is not betrothed.
That is not betrothed. So she's not promised to another man, right? She's not courting another man. You know what I mean? They're not already engaged, so to speak. So see, if you can't do that with a woman who's betrothed, you certainly can't do that with a woman who's already. You certainly can't do that with a woman who's already married, right?
That's
So
right.
when it says entice a maid, you spit the G, right? So already it's setting you up for the fact that she's not with another man. But let's see what it says. He entices her. She's not engaged. She's not married to another man. Let's see what's the next step. Go ahead.
And lie with her.
And do what?
And lie with her.
No, he signed the papers.
And lie with her.
No, they went to the chapel.
And lie with her.
You got down on one knee.
And lie with her.
I said, will you marry me?
And lie with her.
So they just talked about she's not dealing with another man. She's not married to another man. And this man lied with her, meaning they had sex. That's what lie with her means. You know what I mean? Salakia. You know what I mean? Some more people don't know. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Not going to hold it against you. In the Bible, lie with her means they had sex. Okay? Go ahead, Al.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
No. Now they've done that. They can go on and live their lives separately, and they just had a good time.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
No, she can just be like, I didn't have, that was fun and all, but I'm good. It was just a one-night thing.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
That's it. Done deal. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. That's what happened. He shall surely endow her to be his wife, meaning that he can't get out of it. He now has to, endow her to be his wife, like, yeah, that's my rib. Like, you bestowed that upon her. You know what I mean? You have bestowed upon her the name of rib. Yanazar? You know what I mean? That's what that is. You know what I mean? It's done deal. It's over. You know what I mean? Count two up. So somebody want to tell you that marriage is about some kind of, you know what I'm saying, getting down on one knee or, you know what I mean, or something to that effect, then I can't. I mean, I don't know. You tell them to come to the ISUPK. You tell them to come to the ISUPK and we'll answer all the questions, you know what I'm saying, any comments that they have. We can bring them out in the class and we'll go from there. You know what I mean? But according to the now, brother, I'm gonna send you this last one. I think this will work. Let me just make sure. I go wrong. Oh, let me see. Because I have one, but it just don't seem like it's popping up. And this particular one is like they got me locked out. Like I gotta have some kind of damn, what you call it? Hello, sir. You gonna read it for me? I got it. I'm gonna send you this. Copy. Paste. Let me know when you got it, brother.
Good. It just came through.
Okay.
Marriage in ancient Rome.
Yep, that's the one I want. So I want you to read that right from the top.
Marriage in ancient Rome was a strictly monogamous institution. A Roman citizen by law could have only one spouse at a time. Mm-hmm. The practice of monogamy distinguished the Greeks and the Romans from other ancient civilizations.
It distinguished them from where?
Other civilizations.
From other ancient civilizations. God, that's important to note, right? Because not only is it not Israelite custom, right, to put legal sanctions and boundaries on marriage. Not only is it not our custom, it's not anybody's custom. So when you, Salaki, are dealing with somebody who is adamant about what marriage is and all with one wife or whatever, this is what kills me about a fake Israelite group. A fake Israelite group be the first one to tell you about what marriage is and only having one wife and da-da-da. Meanwhile, they don't even realize not only is what they're saying not Israelite culture, brother, you are completely, you need to get your head out of the white man's salaki. You need to get your head out of the oppressor's rear end. You understand? Because it is only European custom, to limit a man legally to having one wife. Okay? The ancient Arabs, Salakia, I think the current Arabs still do it. The current Arabs still do that. You know what I mean? I know the ancient, the Chinese, the Japanese, others, they did it. Now they changed it now because they got laws saying you can't make a certain amount of babies because they got so many people. Right. Do they?
There's an instance where a man had, I want to tell you, like 56 wives and 100 plus children. When he was considered the richest man in the area.
Wow, and this is in Asia. Come, good night. So even in current Asia, some places they still got it going on. You know what I'm saying? These ancient, you know what I'm saying, societies. Oh, I almost forgot about, I ain't gonna say our brothers, but I almost forgot about them ham sandwiches on the continent of Africa. I forgot about them. You know they be having some multiple wives even now. Yeah, that's what you got.
One of the things that made it easier for those Asian countries like Papua New Guinea, what's this?
Philippines?
Yeah, those Muslim nations out there. One of the reasons why they were able to accept Islam so easily was because Islam allowed them to continue the custom of multiple wives. That was one of the reasons why it was able to progress over there.
Right.
So they was doing it from time, unrecorded. They was having multiple wives all over the earth.
Right. And now it's only now that American society, which one of the things we're trying to show. And I'm gonna do a series. So we got marriage. I mean, we can talk about. Obviously, every time we have a history class, Rome pops up in there somewhere, right? We talk about the marriage, Rome. We talk about the pagan customs, Rome. Christmas, Rome. Thanksgiving, Rome. Like it's in there. Greece. Oh, what you got?
Marriage. I was gonna say something. I lost my chain.
No, you too. I'll come back to you. Let me know. You got
Somebody else celebrates Thanksgiving?
What do you mean?
You just said Thanksgiving came out of Rome too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all these holidays come out of Rome. So Thanksgiving, as you know it, obviously you thinking of what happened here in America, but the roots of Thanksgiving, the very things, the harvest and all that stuff that it comes from celebrating another god, a Roman god, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now I have to kind of go back a little bit because it may not actually be Rome. It might be like Norse. That's possible, but I'm almost certain that that's enough. We know Valentine's Day is Rome. We know Christmas is Rome. We know Mother's Day is Rome, right? So Thanksgiving, I believe, is also Rome as well. But no sweat for that. We're gonna obviously bring that out in the history class this month, of course. And when we do that, we'll get into it. You know what I mean? But go ahead and read that from the top again, brother.
Marriage in ancient Rome was a strictly monogamous institution. Mm-hmm. A Roman citizen, by law, could have only one spouse at a time.
A Roman citizen, by law, could only have one spouse at a time. Why is that important? You got more on that? Is there a little more right after that? What's it say?
The practice of monogamy distinguished the Greeks and the Romans from other ancient civilizations.
Right. Now, it's important that the brother just said that you can only have one wife at a time, right? Why is that important? Yes,
because that's the custom we adopted over here.
Right. It is important because it's a custom that we adopted over here. But on the flip side of what you just said, that's Tuah, right? It's a custom we adopted over here. But what does that mean in reality? Go ahead,
That is against our culture.
That is, give that brother a hand. That means it is against our culture. It says what? Read that part again about mandated, or they can have one wife at one time?
The practice of monogamy distinguished the Greeks and
right before the sentence, right before.
By law.
By what?
By law.
By what?
By law.
No, by choice.
By law.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the problem. We're not just talking about. So, I'm tired of people out here who don't know what the hell they're talking about and come up against the Isupk, man, which is the home of the truth, man.
Right.
Come up against the Isupk and do not know what they're talking about. The ISUPK and the Commander General Yahana has never forced multiple wives on nobody.
Right.
Have never said that a man is required to have multiple wives. Never. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your brother. If you want to get down next as well, 2 wives. You know what I mean? Never. We always advocated what? The same thing we've always done. To bring our culture back. To bring back, you know what I'm saying, the culture of blacks, Hispanics, and Indians. Israelite culture. Our ancestors, to bring back the customs that they did, that they celebrated, the way that they lived, the clothes that they wore, the way that they spoke. That's what we're bringing back. And at no point in the Bible, in the Old Testament, will you read of anybody telling a brother who has one wife, no, brother, you got to get a second. Yeah,
You know, like I always say, I watch a lot of Western. The natives practiced multiple wives up until the time that the Europeans came over.
of course. That's the point. That's the point. It is Europe, and that's what the Tuwa part is. That's what the article is telling you. Matter of fact, hold that. I got another article right here. This is another one I was looking for. So that way you can't say, well, read it from one source. No. I got an article right here. The title is even in Latin. It's called Romae Vitam. Everything Ancient Rome. And it says, Roman marriage. The Roman marriage was between a man and a woman. It may seem obvious, but in the ancient world, monogamy was definitely not the norm. That's a lie, how they're wording that isn't Tawab, right? Because in ancient society, it was the norm. But when they say norm, what do they mean?
Their society.
Exactly. Why do you think it's called the Western world? Western civilization. Why do you think everything that, you know what I'm saying, the oppressor does is considered, that's regular. They're just like the default man, right? And everybody else is exotic. You know, everybody else is a third world country. You know what I mean? Everybody else is different. They're just default, right? That's why it's saying what it says. But let me keep going. In many of the ancient civilizations, men, and especially wealthy men, and that's to our point, because somebody will say, oh, well, you gotta be able to pay for all the wives. You gotta have enough money to. That is a goddamn lie according to the Bible as well. That is not true. Okay? You do not have to be goddamn Magic Johnson or LeBron James in order to have multiple wives. All right? Somebody show me in the Bible where it says that, man. There's brothers in the Bible who have multiple wives who were rich. They coincidentally happened to be rich at the same time as having multiple wives. But then there's brothers who were not rich. They weren't king of anything. King David was king. King Solomon was king. Was Jacob king of anything? How many wives did Jacob have?
4.
He had 4. Good night. Now, Salakia, jump back to this, read this paragraph. That's why it says in many of the ancient civilizations, men, and especially wealthy men, had many wives. Therefore, it is quite a remarkable fact that marriage was officially only between a man and a woman in the Roman and Greek world. In Rome and Greece, that's how it was. Now, Greece was a little bit different. They were a little looser in their laws. That's why Rome is pointed out so much. Because it was Rome who first made it a legal decree. Right, exactly. Hold what you got. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15. And while you getting that, I'm gonna get Genesis, man. This is us tearing down the walls of what you have been taught and are accustomed to. Now it's not about changing your mind, it's about just, like, you know what I'm saying, exposing you to the truth, right? Everything that you think is normal, that's why you celebrate them birthdays. And when somebody tells you you can't celebrate birthdays, you're like, wait a minute, I can't do what? Somebody tell you, wait a minute, no, you can't be buying no candy on Valentine's Day. They say, wait a minute, are you kidding me? My woman is gonna go crazy if I don't get something on Valentine's Day. Everything that you do that seems normal to you, that's not your custom. It's time for blacks, Hispanics, and Indians to wake up to who they truly are. You understand? Come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Come back to their book and their customs. You know what I mean? Multiple wives, having more than one wife is not a sin, and it will never be a sin. Right. You understand? So read what you got, brother.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 15.
Right, we just read that in Rome, a man could not have more than one wife at a time. That's important, right? We're going to get to that in a minute. But let's see if you can have more than one wife at a time according to the Bible. Go ahead and read that out.
If a man have 2 wives.
Let's slow down, brother. Slow down a little bit, right? If, it starts off with if, meaning, if, as in, if, you know what I mean? Considering, suppose, go ahead out.
If he chose to.
Right? If he chooses to. Like, you know what I mean? It's letting you know this is a possibility. You know what I'm saying? A scenario that is, you know what I mean? It's considerable. Go ahead.
If a man.
So if this happens, go ahead.
Have 2 wives.
If a man has what?
2 wives.
If a man, it can't say if a man has 2 wives because he can't have 2 wives.
If a man have 2 wives.
No, you read that wrong. You're saying if a man divorced his last wife and he get a new wife.
Have 2 wives.
If a man have 2 wives. I've seen people try to flip this, brother. Can you believe it? Salakia. We dealing with some, you know what I'm saying? Some people at 730 out here, like they not wrapped too tight. The Bible is telling you what's going on. You know what I mean? Read it from the top.
If a man have 2 wives.
According to the Bible, you can have 2 wives. Keep going, brother.
One beloved. And the other, and another hated.
Right.
And they have born him children. Both the beloved and the hated.
Right. So this man has 2 wives. One, she just wild, man. She is just too wild. You know what I'm saying? What does Shanti say? I'm not always there when you call. I'm always on time. She's just there for the brother. Like she just on time with him. Like Durham said, the paper towels just pop up. They just there. Like I don't know. Like Durham said, he ain't never bought paper towels in his life, but for some reason, it's always there. Right? So one beloved, and the other what?
And the other hated.
And the other hated. That's the one. The other hated. What's that? What's that one? The one hated is the one where you know every day is like, you got a question. What goddamn battle am I going to have to go through with this one today? By the end of it, like wake up in the morning is all good. But you know you got to be on guard. You got to be on Shabbat. Because by the end of this day, it could be something totally different. She going to be totally different. She was 12 this morning when I laid next to her. But as soon as I got ready to leave for class, all of a sudden a barrage, a wave of feminine emotion just smacked me upside the head and rolled on in, right? And you dealing with that daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So the Bible says if you got 2 wives, one beloved and one hated, it'd be nice if you had 2 loved, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. Go ahead.
And they have born him children.
So he got 2, right? Now, if this does not tell you that the Bible is factual, actual, against other customs of other people, and if it doesn't tell you that according to the Bible, men can have multiple wives, I mean, you just can't read. Like you don't have reading comprehension skills. It says if a man have 2 wives, one he loves and one he hates, and the reason why it's doing that is because it's trying to do what? Who is the person learning the lesson here? Who's being taught a lesson? Who's being told how to conduct themselves in the scripture? Go ahead, Al.
The woman that's not loved.
No.
The man.
The man is being taught a lesson here. This scripture is not for the wives. It's for the man who has to deal with a dragon. A man who has a dragon and he has one woman that's too wild. And it's trying to make sure that man does not do what?
Same thing to the wife that's too wild.
No. Con.
Or mess up his inheritance.
In a way, but it's trying to make sure that he doesn't do what? It's trying to keep him honest. It's trying to make sure that he's fair. Because guess what? An unrighteous man will do what? This one, I hate this one. So, you know what? whatever, I got a child with her, but you know what? You come from that B word. You come from that dragon. You come from that thing that I cannot stand, that I have to deal with. First of all, the scripture tells you that a man cannot divorce his wife for one. Because it didn't say, the man have 2 wives, one he hates, get rid of the one he hates. It doesn't say that. It don't say that, right? So you already know American custom is telling you, do what? Oh, you don't like her? Divorce her. Get another one. You don't like her? Divorce her. Get another one. Because guess what? America believes in multiple wives too. They just believe in doing it in succession. Get rid of one, get another one, get rid of one, get another one, get rid of one, get another one. These celebrity dudes be having they died and they had 5 wives. He was married 5 times. You know what I'm saying? So that custom, and we're gonna talk about the history of that. But it's telling you if a man has 2 wives, one he hates and one he loves, keep going, and he has children by both.
And the beloved and the hated, both the beloved and the hated,
right?
And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated,
right?
Verse 16, then it shall be when he maketh his son to inherit that which he hath.
Right, because the first son, his firstborn child, and I think black people should understand this. Black people should understand this. That first baby mom is oftentimes one of the rougher ones, man, because that's the one you had when you was young. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really know as much. You know what I'm saying? You went into it a certain way, and now you're dealing with the repercussions. Right? So that first one had his first son, his first child. Go ahead.
Then it shall be when he maketh his son to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son.
He may what?
He may not.
He may not. This is something that the husband cannot do. Go ahead.
He may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated.
Right. So
indeed the firstborn.
Right. So it's saying that he cannot decide because I like this one more. I'm going to show favoritism to her son. I'm going to show favoritism to the son I have from her over this one, even though he actually is supposed to get the inheritance. It's saying that he can't do that. It proves you can have more than one wife. You understand? Now, go back to the article you reading and keep going.
The Romans from the ancients, in which elite males typically had multiple wives. Greco-Roman monogamy may have arisen from the egalitarianism of the democratic and republican political system of the city-state.
You don't never stay too long on that, but what does that mean? Egalitarianism. What does that mean? Egalitarianism. Click on it, look it up.
I got it out of one.
Go ahead, what you got?
This is the Google definition of egalitarianism.
Egalitarianism?
Egalitarianism. The doctrine that all people are equal.
Now, all what?
That all people.
Some people?
All people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
That's egalitarianism. So when it says egalitarianism because of the Democratic and Republican city-states, you know what was happening in ancient Rome? Again, am I lying? I bring this movie up all the time. I bring movies up all the time. In the movie 300, was there anything kind of strange about it? Like you were shocked to see? Was there anything kind of interesting about the relationship between Leonidas and his wife? Y'all don't remember? Okay.
She had slept with another man. I know she was sleeping with that other dude.
Right, but that was just later in the movie.
We were talking about earlier on.
Right.
She felt like she could talk amongst men.
Right.
So she felt equal to her husband.
Because she was. In ancient Greece and Rome, especially because Augustine, remember we read about it earlier, right? Augustine was trying to do what? He was trying to revamp the social structure and marriage. So now they got these Republican and Democratic, sound familiar, right? City states, egalitarianism. They're trying to make everybody equal. We're gonna read a little bit further about it. It'll come out, right? So trying to make everybody equal. So they didn't want the men to have rights in marriage that the women didn't have, right? So the women, they didn't want, so you couldn't make monogamy, you couldn't make it okay for a man to have multiple wives. Why? Because a woman couldn't have multiple husbands. So instead, they just said, well, we're going to just forget the whole monogamy thing. A man can only have one wife, a woman can only have one husband, right? So read that part again.
Greco-Roman monogamy may have arisen from the egalitarianism of the democratic and republican political systems of the city-states.
Right, because that's why I brought up 300, because if you recall, she not only was able to speak up like that, but she was kind of calling shots, bro.
Yes.
In fact, right, what's the famous part where he says, "This is Sparta," and kicks the damn African down the well, right? Right before he does it, he looks at her for approval. Right. He looks at her and she goes, and then he kicks the hell out of that hammer. Right? He even, if you notice, when I watch that movie, I've been peeping like Salakia. He even talks like it sounds like a Kemet cat. Right before, because the dude came, he pulls the sword on, right? And the African is like, what are you doing? You can't threaten a messenger. And Leonidas is like, you insulted my queen. That was the first thing Leonidas said. I'm like, he sounded like somebody when he said, you insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death.
And he should have said it's a lie. He should have said that first if he was going to sit there and be on some tough shit.
No, well, that's not what he said first. He said, you insult my queen.
Right.
He insulted, and why did he say the African insulted the queen? Because the African said, what makes this woman think she can speak amongst men? What? Salakia, read my mind. What does that prove in that movie? Go ahead.
In these other cultures, women were not.
Give that brother a hand.
Right.
In other cultures, in other nations, they knew, wait a minute, women don't even speak amongst men. There's no equality here. There's no egalitarianism. We don't do that. So she was the queen, and she came out talking. She was actually kind of talking mess too. He said something. He said some little, you know what I'm saying, some little funny thing, and she's like, "Oh, don't be stupid" or whatever. And he's like, it's like, what makes this woman think she can speak amongst men?
Right.
Because he, in every other part of the world, this is like, wait a minute, bro, what the hell is this?
Right.
Right? And then Leonidas said, you insult my queen. Like, insult your queen.
Nigga, she shouldn't be.
Most high Christ not. Nigga, she shouldn't be. I ain't do anything. Insult your queen, she should come out shut. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what that egalitarianism they're talking about in the Greco-Roman world, right? Now keep going.
Now this next thing is deep.
Right.
It is one aspect of ancient Roman culture.
One aspect, because we know there's about 1,000, right? We know there's like 1,000 aspects that early Christianity wanted to take, right? Keep going.
That was embraced by early Christianity.
Oh, go ahead.
Which in turn perpetuated it.
Which in turn did what?
Perpetuated
Which in turn perpetuated, go ahead.
As an ideal.
In
latter Western culture.
Oh man, you gotta read that last sentence again. I'm sorry. I gotta look up 3 words that's in that sentence that's so hefty, man. Just have it. Go ahead.
Roman culture that was embraced by early Christianity, which in turn perpetuated.
To perpetuate, what does it mean to perpetuate?
To keep it going.
But I'm looking for a little bit, you know what I mean?
Make it permanent.
Let's see, what you got, Sadat?
Perpetuate is never ending.
I'll take that. Perpetuate. Make something typically an undesirable situation or unfounded belief. That's what it says in the definition. Continue indefinitely. To make perpetual or cause to last indefinitely. So what you said is to is to make it continue. It would have been its own thing, but to perpetuate it is to take something that's its own thing and say, no, we're going to keep doing it. Another word, perpetual. Something is perpetual is continuous. So to perpetuate it is to make it continuous. Keep going.
As an ideal.
As an ideal. It is an ideal. Doesn't a black woman think that being married to one man is ideal? Doesn't a Hispanic woman think that a man just having one wife is so ideal? Wouldn't it be ideal for her to not have to worry about him being out with another woman? To not have to worry about him having children with another woman? Wouldn't it be ideal? That's the ideal that was perpetuated by them. And it came all the way here to today. Because what are we living in today?
Christianity.
We live in Christianity, but our society is European. Right. It's both European and Babylonian, right? It comes from all of that old paganism, right? All that old garbage, man. And you're right, Most High in Christ. The what good, you know what I'm saying, brother? The study, Most High in Christ. Yeah.
As we were speaking, like you notice, like the Africans, they also like elevate their women to queenhood and to equal status with the men as well.
Right. But especially now.
Politics.
Right. Especially now they do that, right? Because most of the politicians over there are put in place. You know what I'm saying? Are in bed with America. Go ahead.
But if I may, like when I was studying, like Kevin, like they would always brag about the fact that the Africans was one of the first ones to elevate women to queenhood and rulership. That was one of the things.
Yeah, because you know what? Because when in large societies, that has just been a common theme. When a society becomes a superpower, you know what I'm saying, like Egypt did, like Babylon did, you know what I'm saying, like the Persians and the Medes did to a degree. You know what I'm saying? When a society becomes a certain way, then they start to delve into, you know what I'm saying, different social structures to try to, you know what I'm saying, try to aid in the way they do things. You know what I mean? So as far as Africans, I mean, to be quite honest with you, so like I got to do more research on the history. I got to look up, you know what I'm saying, my brothers in the UPK, them, you know what I'm saying, the captains and the officers above me, the generals, and look at some of their classes that they've taught on the subject. But I think a lot of that is just tomfoolery. Like I think a lot of them is it just be, you know what I'm saying, just kind of trying to coddle, you know what I'm saying, these Pan-Africanists. When we're like, what I'm saying is, understand that the people you talking about are not African. You know what I'm saying? They're not even African. They're black people. Some of them most of them is Israelites. Probably a couple of Hamites sprinkled in there. Most of them is Israelites who, just like your Jesse L. Petersons, just like your, what's the cat named, the heart surgeon, the Republican?
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. You know what I'm saying? Just like people like them, just like your Condoleezza Rices and your Colin Powells and your, you know what I'm saying? Just like those people want to be what? Common, but by way of America. They want to be American. You're right, they do want to be like the oppressor, but the oppressor they want to be like is America. Well, them Kemet cats, they want to be like their oppressor too. Except the oppressor that they want to be like is a much older oppressor. They want to be like ancient Egypt, who was a bunch of hopping around, you know what I'm saying, Hamites. You know what I mean? They're not actually Hamites. Real ham in Africa don't care about black people over here. They don't care about us. They don't think about us. They're not worried about us. And they'll never tell you that, oh yeah, in their ancient society, they would never tell you that. You know what I'm saying? That's these pseudo scholars coming up with a bunch of garbage, you know what I'm saying? But keep going, brother.
Marriage had mythical precedents, starting with the abduction of the Sabine women, which may reflect the archaic custom of bride abduction.
Right. Oh, Salaki.
We gotta break that down.
Yeah, we about to. I just want to get to it real fast. Right. This is again a lot of what because I got an article on it. Salakia. Because a lot of ancient, just like Greece history, right? The history of Greece is a lot of times mythology, right? Zeus, Kronos, Gaia, Give me some more.
Hercules.
Aries, Poseidon, right? Athena, right? And then these things became what they named, what they put in the world. Athens is named after Athena, right? So, and even in Rome, where does Rome come from? The name Rome. Romulus and Remus, right? Two brothers. Now, this is mythology now. I believe they actually did exist, right? But of course, they mythologize and put it through a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with ancient Egypt. If you look at ancient Egypt and you ask them, if you were able to time travel back to ancient Egypt and say how did ancient Egypt begin, somebody would tell you something about a dog with man feet, you know what I'm saying? And something with his penis, and because that's what they did. They loved to, all their mythology had to do with penises, pose. Every single one had to do, I think, don't they got one where like somebody's penis opened up or something like that? So what you got up?
What it was that it was two brothers.
Oh, this is already starting out bad.
And one brother killed the other brother and chopped him up.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife chopped him up into 14 pieces, like 14 or 15 pieces. And then the wife went out and found the pieces, put it back together, found all the pieces except for the penis, and put it back together, and somehow he got a spiritual penis or some shit. And come on, man, I'm serious. This is Seti and Asar, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But they were two brothers, and one chopped up the other one into 14 pieces, and the wife went in and found all the pieces and put them back together, and she couldn't find the penis. And that's all I remember right now.
Good, thanks. Yeah.
A lot. What is a spiritual penis?
Get up for the That's a too wild question.
I'm telling you, is Seti and Asar, the two brothers,
right?
And the sister, I forgot her name. I think she's the one that the name Isis comes from her,
right?
A set or something like that. Anyway,
no, the water, brother, right. The water for bringing that out. Because now I'm going to bring that out in another class, brother. I want you to get me all the resources you can so I can break down some of this ancient garbage. Please, what you got?
I still need to know what a spiritual penis is.
No one in this room can tell you, brother. Because we don't know. We're Israelites. We don't know nothing about that.
If I remember the story correctly, like somehow she was able to, become impregnated by him. I forget the whole story.
Don't worry about it, brother. We'll figure that out. But you see the point? The point being, these ancient civilizations had all kind of wild, origin stories. And then these same people who believe in that will say, oh, y'all Israelites, y'all believe in that spooky sky daddy. Yeah,
you would say sky daddy because they said the sky, which was Newt, had a penis, and it's supposed to be a female. So that was the sky daddy.
We're going to drop that because I got to get back to the topic. No sweat. Save the question. Stop. Don't worry about it. Write it down. And we'll bring it out next week. Right? But you see that? That's their origin stories, right? So this is another one of another Roman origin story. I'm gonna read this. This is an article in ancientorigins.net on the rape of the Sabine women, or I'm not sure if it's pronounced Sabine. It says, according to tradition, the city of Rome was founded in the 8th century BC by Romulus. The Roman historian Livy wrote that the city of Rome grew strong quickly and was able to defend itself against the other tribes which lived beyond the city's borders. At this point in time, however, Rome was facing a threat not from without, but from within. The followers of Romulus were mostly men, I bet, as he had granted sanctuary to the rabble and outcasts of other cities. Whilst the population of Rome increased immediately, there was a shortage of women in the new settlement. As a result, it seemed that Rome's greatness was destined to only last for a generation, as these pioneers would not have children to carry on the legacy. So this is actually immediate, right? So Romulus kills his brother Remus. He's starting the city of Rome. He's recruiting men, right? But now they're thinking after the Salakia, I can't prove this, but after I'm sure they were having all kinds of homosexual sex, they came the water brother. They came to the bright idea. Wait a minute. We just having sex with each other, but we ain't got no kids. They came to this conclusion after God knows how long. Right. They came to this disgusting conclusion after they lived a disgusting lifestyle. Don't quote me on it. I can't prove that, but it probably happened nonetheless. So they decided we got to get some women, man, because we got to have some babies. We want Rome to continue. All right. It says initially the Romans sought to form alliances with and requested the right of marriage from their neighbors. The emissaries sent to the neighboring tribes, however, failed in their mission, as Rome's neighbors were not bothered with entertaining her requests. Some were even afraid that Rome's growing power would become a threat to them and their descendants. It sounded like they tried to mess with some cats that wasn't having it, man. That's exactly what it was. They were like, we need your wives so we can make babies. And them other nations, them other tribes, and everything was like, hell no, we're not. What is wrong with you? We don't want taking our daughters. You're not dealing with our women. First off, we don't want you to do it. We're going to let you have some babies so you can come around and you know what I'm saying, and conquer us later? Hell no. Not to mention, we never seen y'all before. Get out of here, y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all living over, y'all over there doing all kind of nastiness. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not living right, and we ain't with the program, so nah, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Just like you would your daughter. Imagine some, you know what I'm saying, sloppy. Imagine some homosexual will come to you, say, yeah, Mr. Sadak, I need help here. Me and my buddies, you know, we need some women. We need some women because, you know, we have a good time together, but we can't have any kids. Go ahead, Doc. What you gonna say to that?
I'm gonna kill you.
Facts. Brother, you got 5 seconds to evacuate the premises. I don't want to talk to you. Leave immediately. This is not a drill, right? So that's what Romulus was dealing with. All right. So then it says, some were even afraid that Rome's growing power would become a threat to them and their descendants. As a result, Romulus decided to take more drastic actions in order to secure the future of his city. Romulus found the perfect opportunity during the celebration of Consuelia. According to the ancient writer Plutarch, this festival was founded by Romulus himself. Apparently, Romulus had discovered an altar of a god called Consus hidden underground. The god was said to have been either a god of counsel or the equestrian Neptune. To celebrate this discovery, Romulus established the Consuelia, a day of sacrifices, public games, and shows. Then he announced the festival to the neighboring peoples, and many came to Rome. One of the neighboring tribes that attended the Consuelia was the Sabines. I gotta find out the exact pronunciation. I had it before. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I think both Sabines and Sabines is right. Sabines, so I'm gonna stay with that. According to Livy, the entire Sabine population, including women and children, came to Rome. According to Plutarch, Romulus' signal to the men of Rome was to be whenever he rose up to gather up his cloak and throw it over his body. When this signal was seen, the Romans were to fall on the Sabine maidens and carry them away. Good night. So good, huh?
Can you read the last sentence?
Go. It says, according to Plutarch, Romulus' signal to the men of Rome was to be whenever he rose up to gather his cloak and throw it over his body. You know how back in Rome they had like the little I want to say they had these little fasteners.
What you said, his signal?
His signal, right? So what they would do is they would take their cloak, throw it over their shoulder, and fasten it to one of the things. So when he threw it, he let them know when I do it, when I put my cloak on, fall on them, just fall on those women and carry them, grab them, and let's go. It would be like me saying, brother, when I stand up and put on my vest, you know that's the signal. His signal was for them to do what?
To read.
Come on, give me a better word for exactly what that should say. Get out.
Abduction.
Abduct them. To kidnap them. That's what Romulus, the progenitor of Rome, the founder of Rome, wanted to do. He signaled his boys, when I throw on my cloak, kidnap these hoes. You understand? Let's keep going. Check it out. When the signal was seen, the Romans would have fallen on the Sabine maidens and carried them out. According to Plutarch, only virgins were abducted, with the exception of one Hercilia, who was a married woman. Ooh-wee. Go ahead, Al.
So only virgins, not meaning the sexual idea of virgins, but only women that were of marriageable age.
Well, I can't speak on that because this is not the Bible, right? This is Rome, and this is, you know what I'm saying, this is their custom. Go ahead, Al.
So maybe they might be saying virgin as far as like, if they 15, 16, snatch them up.
Could very well be saying it, right? And remember in ancient Israel, when we said virgin, it didn't necessarily mean, now 9 times out of 10, because of how our law was, you know what I'm saying, once she had sex with somebody, that was her husband, right? So 9 times out of 10, virgin would be a woman who's never had sex. But that is not necessarily the case, right? Because she can be a young woman of marriageable age. For example, we don't know the sister in the Apocrypha who killed the brothers in the marriage chamber, right? We don't know, she might have actually laid with them, but she would still be considered, because she's still young, she's still of marriageable age, and her husbands were dead. So she can get married, right? So she can still considered a virgin, right? But we don't know what they mean. They more than likely they mean they ain't never been with anybody. They might be little girls. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. With the exception of one Hercilia, who was a married woman. This, however, was said to be an accident, I'm sure. According to some historians, the abduction of the Sabines was not perpetrated out of lust, but out of a desire to form a strong alliance with them. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Right. You're going to abduct people. You're going to kidnap people's daughters to form a strong alliance. Right? All right, no sweat. Let's check it out. Instead of an alliance, however, the Romans ended up in a war with the Sabines, as you would expect when you kidnap people's kids. You understand? As they were obviously outraged that their women were forcibly taken by the Romans. After the allies of the Sabines were defeated, the Romans fought the Sabines themselves. By this time, the Sabine women had accepted their role as the wives of the Romans and were quite distressed at the war between the two peoples. Finally, in one of the battles, the Sabine women stood between the Roman and Sabine armies, imploring their husbands on one hand and fathers and brothers on the other to stop fighting. According to Livy, the Sabine women placed the blame for the war on themselves and said they would rather die than to see bloodshed on either side of the families. Affected by their speech, the Romans and Sabines concluded a peace treaty, and the two peoples were united under the leadership of Rome, hence further strengthening the city of Rome, right? There's a certain part that I want to get. There's a certain part they kind of gloss over, right? A certain part. I'm going to get it right now. I'm going to jump to the rape of the Sabine women, right? So that did happen. All that is true. But here's the part that they forget. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it in this. No, that's not the one. Salakia. Because what happened was that agreement that they had, there was a certain part of that agreement that's important to what we're reading about in the history of marriage. Right? Let me see. No sweat. I might just have to just paraphrase it because I don't see it. It's not being told in this particular story. Oh wait, no, I got it. This is it. Yup. Okay, here we go. So this is just the you can find this off the Wikipedia as well, but I went to the Wikipedia because I know it's written here. But there's an actual source for it, right? Written in Latin. You know what I'm saying? From a book. The book History of Rome, sometimes referred to as the Ab Urba Condita, is a monumental history of ancient Rome written in Latin between 27 and 9 BC. So this part of the entry comes from that book, okay? And right here it says Livy, who's the historian. Livy claims that no direct sexual assault took place in the story, but some accounts, when compared with actual recorded history, suggest a seduction based on promises by the Romans. That's important too, because I'm going to give them not the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just going to break down that rape in that time, right, doesn't mean what we see as rape now necessarily, right? Abduction meant rape. There was a famous poem written. You got it?
Strange motherfucker.
Right. I'm gonna tell you right now. There's a famous poem written by Alexander Pope. Alexander Pope wrote a poem back in the 1700s called "The Rape of the Lock." The Rape of the Lock. Now, back then in the 1700s, rape didn't necessarily mean sexual, because the story is about a man. It's supposed to hint at sexual rape, but really it's a story about a man stealing a piece of hair from a woman. That's why it's called rape of the lock. But rape just means abduction. So that's why they don't always call it the rape of the sublime women. They might say the kidnapping or the abduction of the sublime women, right? But this is the key right here. The key part I wanted to get is it says, Livy claims that no direct sexual assault took place in the story, but some accounts we compare with actual recorded history suggest a seduction based on promises by the Romans. Livy says that Romulus offered them free choice and promised civic and property rights to women. I'll read it again, because that's why, that's that egalitarian part we read, that's what it's about. According to Livy, Romulus spoke to them each in person, declaring, Livy says that Romulus offered them free choice and promised civic and property rights to women. Essentially, he said, you know what? We're going to make a deal with y'all. You forgive the fact that we abducted them. We end this war. You don't got to worry. These women will be equal to us. They won't be under us. They'll have equal rights civically. That means in society, they'll be able to buy property. They'll have property rights. They'll be equal to us in all ways. They'll be our wives, but in our society, women will be equal to us, right? And that's why the article you read your part again, on the article versus the egalitarian part.
Greco-Roman monogamy may have arisen from the egalitarianism of the democratic and republican political systems of the city-states. It is one of the aspects of ancient Roman culture that was embraced by early Christianity, which in turn perpetuated it as an ideal in latter Western culture.
Keep going.
Marriage had mythical precedents, starting with the abduction of the Sabine women.
Right. Go ahead.
Which may reflect the archaic custom of bride abduction.
Right. Another nasty thing that they did, it was a little custom they did, bride abduction. But yeah, the Sabine women, and it says right here, according to Livy, Romulus spoke to them each in person, declaring that what was done was owing to the pride of their fathers, who had refused to grant the privilege of marriage to their neighbors. But notwithstanding, they should be joined in lawful wedlock, participate in all of their possessions and civil privileges, and then which nothing can be dearer to the human heart in their common children, right? That's the connection to the Sabine women, that egalitarianism, which ultimately led to what? The law stating that you could only have one wife at a time. Because it would not be equal if you can have multiple wives, she can't have multiple husbands, right? At least that's what they believe. You understand? Keep going with that, brother.
Romulus and his band of male immigrants were rejected. Connubium.
The connubium means like marriage.
Okay.
Right. You can skip that. Slock you. Let me see where you at.
The legal right to intermarry.
Yeah, keep going.
The legal right to intermarriage from the Sabines, according to Livy, Romulus and his men abducted the Sabine maidens, but promised them the same thing you were just saying, and an honorable marriage in which they would enjoy the benefits of property, citizenship, and children. These three benefits seem to define the purpose of the marriage in ancient Rome.
Where?
In ancient Rome.
So in ancient Rome, the purpose of marriage was for those three benefits, for them to enjoy equally property, citizenship, children. They were on the same level. They were equal. Keep going, brother.
Oh, this is good. The matrimonium.
The word matrimonium.
The word matrimonium, Salakia. The word matrimonium, the root for the English word matrimony.
The English word what?
Matrimony. Defines the institution's main function.
Keep going.
Involving the matter or mother.
The mater or mother. Go ahead.
It carries with it the implication of the man taking the woman in marriage to have children. It is the idea conventionally shared by Romans as the purpose of marriage, which would be to produce legitimate children.
To produce what?
Legitimate children.
To produce what?
Legitimate children.
Go ahead, finish that out.
Citizens producing new citizens.
Now I want you to click on where it says legitimate children. I want you to read that.
Legitimacy, a traditionally Western common law.
Right, because this legitimacy is against the Bible. As we're reading, everything is this. All we're reading about is not in the Bible. Legitimacy. Go ahead.
Is the status of a child born to parents.
Read this out. Legitimacy. What?
Legitimacy in traditional Western
common law, which means that Western almost essentially means it's come from Rome. It's European, right? It's Western common law. Go ahead.
That traces its roots to a number of different historical sources.
Whoa.
Wait a minute, I'm skipped somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm lost it. Let me go
Right up to the top.
No, this was legitimacy. Legitimacy in traditional Western common law is the status of a child born to parents who are legally married to each other, and of a child conceived before the parents obtain a legal divorce.
Okay, keep going.
Conversely, illegitimacy or bastardy has been the status of a child outside marriage. Such a child being known as a bastard or a love child, when such a distinction has been made from other children in Scots law.
Right. Stop. Drop that.
Scots law meaning Scottish law?
I'm not sure exactly what that's particularly talking about. I mean, the Scots might have had laws on natural children or something like that. But again, what we're about to find out is where that this comes from Rome. Salakia.
Oh wow.
Salakia, bro. So now go back to the article you had before. Just press back. So that's legitimacy.
Okay.
Right? Because it's about producing legitimate children. Right?
Correct.
Salakia.
Consortium.
So I want you now, no, drop that, and I want you to go down where it says divorce, and I want you to read that.
Divorce from managed marriage. Divorce, like marriage, changed and evolved throughout Roman history.
Because that's what the legitimacy comes from. Legitimate, we just read it in the other part, we read legitimacy. It said a legitimate child was before they divorced. But guess what? In ancient Rome, you couldn't get a second wife. You had to do what? You read that too. You can get another wife, but you had to do what? Get rid of the first one. Go ahead.
As the centuries passed and ancient Rome became more diversified, the laws and custom of divorce also changed and became more diversified to include the customs and beliefs of all the different people. Divorce had always been a common occurrence in Rome.
Of course it was.
And from the beginning of ancient law in Rome, men had the possibility of divorcing their wives. Although this custom was usually reserved for serious marital faults, such as adultery, making copies of the household keys, consuming wine, or infertility, it could be employed by a husband at any time. For many centuries, only husbands had this privilege, but wives were finally included in this process and given permission to divorce their husband as Rome entered into the classical age.
Right. So women got the right to divorce too. So that's what separated Rome. That's what it was. Legitimacy and illegitimacy. A real wife and a not real wife. My brothers, some of y'all might have experienced this, heard it before. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say, oh, y'all UPK, y'all don't got real wives. Y'all don't got, you got to go down to the justice of the peace. You got to go down to the courthouse. You got to put a ring on them. They say that that's real marriage according to the Bible. That's a goddamn lie. That doesn't come from the Bible at all, right? That comes from Rome. Rome is the reason why you're illegitimate and your older brother isn't. Rome is the reason why your sister is illegitimate, even though y'all was a sister, but she's illegitimate because she, came from that other woman. You know what I mean? So a lot of us experience, some of us got siblings like that. I got an older brother, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess all my siblings are illegitimate. I'm illegitimate. Yeah, no.
I got 5 kids out of one, all by 3 different women.
Right. Everybody just black people, we just all illegitimate up in this piece, right? Just illegitimate as I don't know what, right? You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that sometimes brothers have been in situations, you might have a brother who is legally married. And what do? He go and deal with another woman. And now that child, now that child is right. According to who? To Rome. That child is disgusting. That child is a bastard. That child is illegitimate. Even though that father probably loves that child just as much as all of his children.
Right.
But he's forced to adhere to a system that's not his own. It's not his culture. And I'm going to prove it's not his culture right now. And if you were Christian and you listen to this and you believe in it, guess what? You got some explaining to do. Because the man that you claim that you worship, the man that you claim that you want to be Christ-like, Christ was against this. And we're going to read it right now. Give me Luke chapter 16, verse 18. So we just read what Christ said that he didn't come to destroy the law, and we read the law where it says that a man can have 2 wives. We read it. You know what I'm saying? We read that sex is marriage. I got another scripture saying that sex is marriage. I didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? But it tells you what happened when Isaac went into his mother's tent. Right? When Isaac was getting down with Rebecca, it says he went into his mother's tent. Rebecca became his wife. What do you think they did in the tent? Was there a goddamn Christian pastor in the tent? Yeah, Doc.
So he was in there reading some words out of the Bible.
Yeah, he read some words out of the scriptures and she was his wife.
But they weren't in the Bible.
Now, why did they have to go in the tent to do that? They couldn't read that outside? Yeah, Doc.
That's not intimate.
Good night. He went in there and tied fire to that behind, and that was the end of that, and she became his wife, okay? Go ahead and read that out when you get it.
The book of Luke, chapter 16, verse
Now, the UPK is going to bring it all to light for you. Make it real clear. We just read about Roman law and how they were trying to adjust everything and trying to make it all egalitarian and so on and so forth. And we read about how divorce, it was always there. It's literally saying divorce was always a thing in Rome. But then the women can do it too. So not everybody's able to divorce. Doesn't sound familiar? You know what I'm saying? Divorce is so easy now, right? Yeah,
because the origin of it is wickedness and political.
Right. We're reading about when marriage became politicized. This is the origin of that, okay? But let's see what Christ said, because you don't know that the Bible is a history book? You didn't know that? Well, Christ lived in Jerusalem during the time when they were under what? Under occupation under who? Under the Romans. So let's see what Christ had to deal with. Go ahead.
Whosoever, the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 18. Whosoever putteth away his wife.
Whosoever do what?
Putteth away his wife.
Go ahead.
And marrieth another.
And does what?
And marrieth another.
Go ahead.
Committed adultery.
Some fool will come up and say that this is talking about you can't have multiple wives. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, man. It says what? Read it from the top.
Whosoever putteth away his wife
So you already got rid of one. Go ahead.
and marrieth another.
So how is that about multiple wives if you got rid of one? You had to get rid of one and get another. Do you know what having multiple wives is? Salakia. It's having more than one wife at a time. How can I have more than one if I keep getting rid of the first one?
Right.
If I got a cup, Salakia, some people don't understand. I have a cup. I like this cup. But you know what? I want a new cup. There's another cup over there. No, I can't have two cups. I'll get rid of this cup. I'm done with that cup because I want this shiny new cup. Now I got the cup that I want. Salakia, is this how do I have multiple cups? I got rid of the first cup. I got one cup now. You understand? So if anybody foolishly comes up against the ISUPK trying to use a scripture like this to say that this is about multiple wives, they're going to get cut to shreds because the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana knows more than you do about the Bible. And that's all there is to it. We are the only true scholars on the Bible. You understand? The only men commissioned to do this work. You know what I mean? Do not try this at home. Now I got the golden cup. I don't have that one no more. That is that's what Christ is telling you not to do.
Right.
He's telling you not to do that, right? To not put away one to get another. Go ahead, read from that.
And whosoever marrieth her,
So go back to the beginning, so from top.
whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another, committeth adultery.
Right. So if you put away your wife and marry another, you commit adultery. But guess what we just read? Why is Christ saying this? Why is he saying this? What was happening at this time? Yeah.
They were under the Roman influence.
And
so they was beginning to divorcing their wives to get another one.
Give that brother a hand. Because our custom was to do this. I got my cup again. This is a nice cup, man. I like this cup, man. This is my cup right here, man. Oh, it's a nice cup too. All right. I got another cup. Got two cups.
So Salakia, you double cut.
I don't know what that means, Salakia. All I know.
We had two cups in one.
Oh, I'm not double cupping. If that's what that means, I'm not double cupping. You know what I'm saying? This is mine. This is mine. These cups don't have to worry about each other. This is mine. This is mine. And they chilling and they good. And sometimes I want to drink out of this cup. Sometimes drink out of this cup. I ain't gonna neglect this cup. This is my baby right here. Don't get it twisted. It's my first cup. You feel me? It's my cup. It's my cup. You know what I mean? And we wait. Hold up.
Oh shit.
What we got over here, man? I see something else I like. Good night. Now I got a whole stable of cups. You know what I mean? That was our custom. I can't. That's why Christ, we read in the other scripture, if you got two wives, there's certain things you can't do. You can't say, oh, well, this is my golden cup. This is literally that example that we read in the scriptures. This is my golden cup. So I'm going to put favor on this one. I'm going to treat this one's children like they're better than this one's children. I'm going to give my inheritance to this one, even though this one gave me my firstborn son.
Even though the wine came out the same bottle.
Right. Even the wine came out the same. Most high in Christ. Wine came out the same bottle. But what does that mean? So finish the scripture you got, and we're going to break it down. Read the scripture you got from the top, verse 18.
Whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery.
Right. So whoever putteth away his wife and marry another committeth adultery. Whosoever marry her that is putteth away commits adultery. You understand? You know this brother that divorces. Let's say some brother decides, he divorces his wife. I ain't nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I know better than that. Okay, I know the law. I ain't dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You feel me? But this is the example that we gave earlier, right? In the scripture, where you gotta still adhere to this, right? But guess what? What does that scripture what this scripture we just read? These are two scriptures from Christ's mouth, right? Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17 through 18, and Luke 16 and 18 are from whose mouth? What colors are written in?
Red.
It's written in red. It's Christ's words, right? What did Matthew 5 and 17 tell us that we can't do that according to Roman culture we can do? We just read it.
Uphold the law.
Divorce.
That's what Luke 16 and 18 just told us. Luke 16 and 18 is Christ saying, no, you cannot divorce your rib. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances for certain things, but it's telling you, it's specifically saying, nah, man, y'all are learning from the Romans. The Romans are telling you that if you want to get a new wife, get rid of the one you got. You cannot do that. That is adultery. He's not saying you can't have more than one. He's saying you cannot get rid of one in order to get another. You cannot put away your wife, right? But we read in we'll just paraphrase it, Matthew 5 and 17, but I just read about if the one who you hate is the one who had your firstborn son, and the one who you love had your secondborn son, you cannot give your inheritance to the secondborn son just because he came from the rib that you like more. You still have to give it to your firstborn son. So what did we just talk about that Rome was doing that we just read? Christ said no. We read in the Old Testament that you cannot do. And then of course we read in Matthew that he didn't come to change the law. You know what I'm saying? Or we read in Deuteronomy 21 and 15 about the 2 wives. So we read. How is that relevant to this?
Well, you can't divorce a wife. Mm-hmm. You can't put her away. Mm-hmm. And also, it's a law of inheritance as well. Right. Which means what? Which means that whoever's the firstborn is the firstborn.
Which means there's no such thing as what in Israel?
Divorce.
Come on, wait. Give me what I'm on topic. On this particular thing, we're talking about inheritance. For time's sake, I'll give it to you. In Israel, there's no such thing as an illegitimate child. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as, this child is illegitimate because I wasn't legally married or I divorced her. No, there's no such thing. In Israel, all your children are your children. You claim every single one of them.
That's right.
You understand? That's in the Bible. You know what I mean? The Bible. Go back to what you got?
I've experienced this in my own life, because I had 4 children in 2 years mm-hmm. by 2 different women. Mm-hmm. And a woman that everybody wanted me to be with or thought was like the one that I was going to be with, mm-hmm. her children was accepted. But the woman that, she was considered like the outside or the mm-hmm. bastard woman, mm-hmm. her children was not.
Right.
So right. I've experienced that myself.
Right. I have too. Like I when I told this class before, I remind brothers, me and my older brother got different fathers. But my older brother, his father was married at the time that my mother gave birth to him. You understand? So my older brother's father was a married man, dealing with a woman who he wasn't legally married to. Right? My older brother comes out, look just like the nigga. Like of all, the nigga got 6 kids. Of all of them, my older brother looks more like that nigga than any of them. Any of them. But he was the bastard son. Mm-hmm. He was the illegitimate son. He was the son raised by a single mother. You know what I'm saying? And let me say, in that particular case, they didn't shun him to the point where he could never come around, but he wasn't raised. He couldn't be raised by his father. You understand what I'm saying? He couldn't be, because his father was a married man who already had a family. You know what I mean? That's very common in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he already got a family. He already got a woman. You know what I mean? And then that whole legit, because that is this society. This society is a continuation of ancient Rome. You know, Most High in Christ. This society is what Rome perpetuated. It's perpetual. It comes from there and it has continued to now. And you, Salaki, and we embrace it.
Right.
And we embrace it. Black women, black men, we embrace this idea that, oh, certain children are legitimate. Certain children are masters. Oh, if you ain't signed papers, you ain't married. If you ain't get, Salaki, now I gotta get it real fast. So somebody give me Genesis 24 and 67. Somebody give me Genesis 24 and 67. Please. You know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of, I'm gonna have to do this. Shoot, I got a whole, damn. I got precepts.
Come on, sir.
Go ahead and read that out.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24, and verse 67. Mm-hmm. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent.
He brought her where?
Into his mother Sarah's tent.
No, he brought her to the Christian church.
His mother. Into his mother Sarah's tent.
No, he brought her to the Episcopal Church of Jesus Christ and the Lord, you know what I'm saying, in Jericho.
Into his mother Sarah's tent.
He brought her into a tent. Go ahead.
And took Rebekah.
And did what?
And took Rebekah.
And took Rebekah. Go ahead.
And she became his wife.
Yo, so dog, you ain't right, bro. So like it, bro. You gotta read it right, bro. Good dog. I see what you're doing. No, you too old. I see what you're doing. But for the people, read it nice and slow so they can hear it from the top.
Come, sir. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24.
In your Bible, the one right in front of the pew when you go sit there on Sunday. It's sitting right there. You don't pick it up because you're ready to sing. But in the Bible, it says this. Go ahead.
Verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent.
Isaac, the father of Jacob, who is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, who put his 4 wives. But Isaac, right, he brought her, being Rebekah, into his mother's tent. Go ahead.
And took Rebekah.
And took her. What does the took right here mean? Because let's read the first part again.
And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent.
So they already told us he brought her into the tent. They're already in the tent together. He already told us that part. Go ahead.
And took Rebekah.
So this taking Rebekah is happening inside the tent. They're already in. So you can't say, oh, well, the took Rebekah means he took her into the tent. No, they're already in the tent.
Right, that's right.
So he took Rebekah. Go ahead.
And she became his wife.
Somebody tell me what he did in that tent, please. Sit down, brother.
Took meaning had sex from her. Took her virginity.
Took meaning he took that box. That's what that's talking about. Isaac went in there and, you know what I'm saying, he took it, not meaning he forcibly took it. You know what I mean? She gave it to him and he gladly accepted. He still took it. Go ahead.
Consensual. Yeah,
it's consensual, right? Let's not be silly, right? Because some fool, you know what I'm saying, from a fake Israelite camp, you know what I'm saying, will say took, or he took, rape. No, that's not what it's talking about, man. Like, took means he gave it up. And he said, I'll take it. I'll take that. That's what happened. He took Rebekah, and she became his what?
His wife.
No, his girlfriend.
His wife.
No, she became beside her.
His wife.
No, it's just some girl he's dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Messing with her.
His wife.
She became his wife. That's in the Bible. So if you having sex with somebody, that person is your what?
His wife.
That's your wife, Bob. You sleep with a sister, that's your wife. And you sleep with a brother, that's your husband. So sisters, I implore you, if you're single and you are hearing this message, this message is brought to you, not in part, this message is brought to you by the ISUPK and the Commanding General.
That's right.
You understand? If you're single right now and you don't want to be taught, because guess what? If you're sleeping with a brother and you come in here, we're not going to tell you to leave him alone. We're going to say, that's your husband. It could be a man from another nation. If that's your husband, that's your husband. Because what are you going to do? Be up in the bed with some Arab and then Officer Tabawan's going to want to get with you? Hell no, it ain't happening. Now, if he didn't leave you or something, then obviously, you know what I mean? What can you do? You let him go. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. That's what I was going to go with that. Like, so if I were to leave my wife, you know what I'm saying, does that constitute like her being able to go and find another man? But I'm still like we still have children. I still deal with my child.
It constitutes her being able to go deal with another man out of here. Depending on the circumstances by which the divorce takes place. If you divorce her, I'm
not saying divorce though, because it didn't say divorce. It said leave. Like if I just leave and I go live somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Oh well, no, we're talking about divorce. So you can't.
We're talking about
because I mean, there's situations where you can leave your rib for a season. There's situations where you can, because again, when it comes to dealing with a sister, right? And you got a sister, you got to think of it like almost similar to having children. No, I'm not saying that a woman is your child. No, right? But the same way how anything that's under your authority, you got to deal with it accordingly. If it's under your authority, then you might have to discipline that thing. You know what I'm saying? Brothers in here, Salaki, brothers in here get disciplined. You know what I'm saying? But the way we get disciplined is not the same as a child. You know what I'm saying? Your child, give them a little spanking or whatever the case may be. You're obviously not going to hit on a woman. You know what I mean? You're not going to do that because that's not tawab, right? But you might be in a situation where she's being a dragon and she's not being tawab, and you might have to punish her. And you might have to be away from her for a season. You can't stay away from her. You can't be like, I'm never going to see you again, because that's essentially divorce. You can't do that. But you can be like, I'll see you next week. You can do that. That is lawful and at times necessary. Go ahead, Al.
So the word season that you're using, technically a season is like 3 months, correct?
No, not season in terms of like winter, spring.
Summer.
A season just means for the time. You'll get counsel on it. That's the number one thing. You want to get counsel on it, right? And you'll be told if that's a good idea. Like, brother, y'all need to spend some time apart. Like right now, y'all don't need to be living together. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can reconvene at a certain time, but right now, it's just not so wild. You know what I mean? That is lawful. And that sometimes needs to take place. But you cannot divorce her. You cannot say, you are no longer my wife. You understand? And that's why when you say what you say, no, it's not grounds for her to go deal with another man because you have not divorced her. Now, because guess what? Because here's what I'm saying. On the flip side, based on what we just talked about, a sister might come in, right? And she might be dealing with a man in the world, and he might be on drugs. He might be a drug dealer. He might be doing whatever. And she comes talking about this Israelite stuff. He might be like, girl, I ain't dealing with you no more. And he bounced. Yeah, Doc.
If a rib leaves her husband and goes with another man, isn't that adultery?
Absolutely.
And that's a divorce.
No, that's
It constitutes a divorce.
well, it constitutes separating from her permanently. So yeah, it constitutes divorce, right? But now she done dealt with another man. You can't deal with her no more. That's somebody else's woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because so like, yeah, let me not say that. Let me not say it's definitely someone else's woman, because I got to get the breakdown on that, because I believe there are situations where a man can have claim over a woman a certain way, even if she's gone and played the whore. I think it's happened in the Bible before. Now, the Bible advises against it tremendously. You know what I'm saying? Going back to a woman who's played the whore is just not tawab. It's not tawab, right? But I don't want to just tell you can't. I want to say like I don't think you can do that. I want to say that, but I don't want to give you wrong information, so I'll get clarification and get back to you. But what I do know is if she says straight up, I'm gone, I'm not coming back, and go deal with other men, you don't have to take her back. It's like an automatic divorce. Like if she went and did what she did, that's it. Like my hands are clean. Yeah.
So scenario, the wife sits there and says that she don't want you here no more. Like she don't want you in the house no more. She don't want you to be here no more. What would that be? Would that be her saying, because we don't hold nobody hostage.
Of course.
So if she's saying, I don't want you here no more, I don't want you, like, I guess I don't want to be with you technically, but not saying
in Israel we don't go technically. We don't. I'm saying I see what you're saying, but we don't really play that game. Like that's an oppressor's game. Oh, technically, you know what I'm saying? I see what you're saying, but
so if she says she don't want you no more, she don't want you to be here no more, and she wants you to leave,
counsel, like a real counsel, because you got to clarify that, right? Because she just might, again, especially with a sister, sometimes you got to remember, and brothers know this, right? Women, more so than us, we all do it in the world, especially, but they not in here like us, right? So they don't have the discipline we have. They're not taught to have. Then it's your job, or it's our job to teach them that discipline. Right. But it's a little bit harder to teach them that discipline for several reasons. Number one, it wasn't bestowed upon them naturally. The Bible says that. That wisdom wasn't given to them. Right? That's number one. Number two, I got brothers in here to keep me honest. You know what I'm saying? As I came up as a trooper, there was other troopers around me. You know what I'm saying? There was other troopers, other young officers that I was around to say, oh, okay, I gotta make sure I do this. Oh, this officer's doing this, or this trooper's doing this. I gotta make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. All they have is you. And a lot of times we come in this truth and they remember the nigga that wasn't in here. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I mean? And then that right there messes their minds up and they be emotional or whatever. So she might be saying something just to rile you up. And that's the point is, because you don't know, you got to get counseling. Real, you know what I'm saying, with the top cats, you know what I'm saying? You want to get real counsel on that because you got to be able to decipher that message and what it means. You understand? Was you holding the scripture for me out? Jump back to the article. We're gonna close out. We're gonna get a little more. We're gonna close it out.
We was finishing up Genesis 24:67. Ain't finished that, right?
Kind of, yeah. That's just to prove that sex is marriage according to the Bible. Right. Isaac took Rebekah. He took the box, he went in there, he knocked the dust off that thing, and there you have it. It literally says, she became his wife. You understand? That's why I said it like that.
And he loved her.
And he loved her.
But did say she had dust on the box.
Salaki, that's why I said we not literal in Israel. We're not literal. It's not literal dust. You know what I'm saying? It just means, you know what I mean? He handle business with it. You know what I mean? So now, Salaki. Let me see something. Where we at in the article? Now we're gonna get one more scripture. We're done for the article for right now. We're gonna get one more scripture. I got another article right here that I was reading. It says, check it out. This is another thing. It says, I was reading this before, where it says, therefore, it is quite a remarkable fact that marriage is officially only between a man and a woman in the Roman and Greek world. It is worth noting, however, that Roman men were allowed to have a concubine. These concubines did not have the same rights as wives. What does that mean? Another thing that Israel didn't do. Go ahead,
That's actually confusion. Because, like we know, sex is marriage.
Right.
So if I have a wife and then I have a concubine and I'm having sex with it as well, that is my wife.
Right.
So,
and if it's your wife,
as far as those standards is concerned, she's equal to the nice wife.
Most High in Christ, give that brother a hand. Israel don't play that. Oh, this is the lead wife. This is the
This is the first wife and this is the sister wife.
This is the first wife and this is the sister wife. Sister wives, that's not our custom. That's disgusting. Mormon Utah. Weird.
Stop.
No, for real. Out in Utah, that's what they be doing, bro. Like they're Mormons and they have sister wives and they got rank. They got a ranking system for wives, brother. I don't think they got captains 10,000, but they got one wife. She's like the veteran wife. She's like the, you know what I mean? I guess the commander general of the wives. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the leader. And then she tell the other wives what to do and all this stuff.
And she says like when he be with the women,
right,
and stuff like that.
Right. So if she'd be like, oh no, I don't give a damn what the schedule is. So he would be like, the other wives gonna be like, okay, no sweat. Nah, brother. No, but guess where was that happening again? In ancient Rome. Because they was having wives and little concubines because they still was nasty and they still wanted to go deal with other women, which is not nasty in and of itself. But they, you know what I'm saying? They had concubines. So and what did the concubine mean? When you ended up getting the concubine pregnant, those children were what? It's in the next sentence. In this article, like I said, this is the article that comes from Rome Vita. You know what I'm saying? A website all about Roman history. Right. It says it is worth noting, however, that Roman men were allowed to have a concubine. These concubines did not have the same rights as wives. Most marriages, again,
what constituted a concubine?
A concubine probably was somebody, was a woman that they got during a war or something like that.
I was gonna say, but they got the wives from the war, they kidnapped them.
But that was at the beginning. And remember, they were trying to be diplomatic. They weren't really trying to be mean. They just needed some women. They just need some women to make some babies. You know what I'm saying? We can understand that, right? Right. No, we cannot understand that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what they were doing. But let me finish this part. Most marriages were not romantic, but rather arranged between families seeking to maintain or improve the family wealth and social status.
So that was like an arranged marriage.
Yeah, most marriages back then, that's still something they shared with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Does Israel do arranged marriage?
Not in the same way, but yes. Okay. Arranged only but then again, we also did it. And that's the beauty of it, man. We did both. Sometimes a brother would have, you know what I'm saying? He'd be like, oh man, like you have two, you know what I'm saying? They come up together. You know what I'm saying? Brother have a daughter, the other brother have a son. You know what I'm saying? And they'd be like, oh man, like, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't say the woman is not bound to that. You know what I mean? But they'd be like, oh, it'll be 2 hours they got together. You know what I'm saying? And then the opposite can be presented to them if she wants to do it, if they want to do that, just like in here. You know what I'm saying? If you have an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from who? The head. Somebody would call that arranged only in the fact that they have to get permission from somebody above. Right. So in our custom, the daughter wouldn't necessarily, she might like a dude, but he would have to be tried by the father. You understand? The father would have to make a final decision on that guy.
Would that constitute the dowry?
Right, that's part of that. Okay. That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? The dowry and all that. That what you bring Most High in Christ. That is heavy what you bring it out because that proves that there was an arrangement aspect to what we did because there was a dowry. Because you didn't just end up doing it. You had to pay for that system. Yeah.
Because look at Jacob.
Right.
That was an arrangement.
Right.
Because
right. But who admit that's the only reason why I'm saying when he said arranged, because when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, before I got into back in New York, I had a best friend who was Indian. You know what I'm saying? He's I don't deal with him like that, you know, now because I'm in the truth. He was Elam, right? He was the Elamite. But he would tell me about the arranged marriages. He would tell me about how his pop was so badly wanting him to get one, right? And the way that happened wasn't quite the same. And in heathens arranged marriages, they don't really choose. It'd be a girl that they might have met when they were 6, and then they turn 18, and the father's like, all right, you're going to marry such and such. But they don't know them really. They haven't really been around them like that and hung out with them. So that's why when you said that, in my mind, arranged marriage is more like literally you don't have much say in it. It's just a connection between you and somebody else who's family to, your pops got somebody he cool with, or a family that's also cool with y'all. And you got somebody over here, somebody's daughter, that they want to connect with somebody's son. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So wouldn't that be like also like if you were somebody that was wealthy as far as cows were concerned, and I was somebody wealthy as far as chickens were concerned, to keep that wealth in the family, your son or daughter would marry my son or daughter.
Well, if your son is married to my daughter, it's not going. It's still not. I'm not giving you no cash. I'm giving you the daughter.
Right.
You giving me the chickens.
Right.
Or your son, whoever y'all arrange that between y'all.
Right.
Somebody giving me something for this girl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
but
like as far as keeping things in the family, you know what I'm saying? My son's gonna inherit my wealth.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You know
right. Because both sides Christ, because that's a good point. Because I'm giving away this girl who's gonna do what for you? She's gonna produce more offspring.
Right.
For your son.
Right.
Your wealth is going to go to your son, and go to his son, and so on and so forth. My daughter is not bringing sons to me, right? Because she's a daughter. So chickens, whatever you got, bring it on. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that works. That's part of the dowry. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the dowry is not chickens, because don't nobody know how to raise no goddamn chickens. Give up the cash. Sadak, I know that you know how to raise chickens. Even if you didn't tell me you know how to raise chickens, I assume that you did. You know sweat. You know what I mean? But that's how it works. That's why they want to say arranged marriage. Because in that situation you just brought up with Jacob, it was Jacob who initiated that, right? You know what I'm saying? Jacob wanted Rachel. He wanted her. It wasn't like the father said, yes, Jacob, please. No. Jacob was like, yo, I want that. You understand? So that's the difference, you know what I mean? But let me see. I don't want to get one more to be close. Give me Matthew chapter 19, verse 3. That's gonna be the last one. Verse 3. And it's the last one we're closing out. Man, I got a lot more again. Might do part 2 next week. Probably gonna do part 2 next week. You know what I'm saying? But we're just gonna end it here. So today's class really, this ain't our custom. You see the origins of theirs is about all kinds of rape and abduction. That's not the origin of our marriage. Their marriage is about divorcing and getting a new wife. That's not our marriage. You know what I'm saying? Their marriage is about equality and egalitarianism. That's not our marriage. So go ahead and read that, brother.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him.
Came unto who?
The Most High. Salakia, Yahushua.
Right, came to Yahushua. They came to Christ. Go ahead.
Tempting him. And saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
For what?
For every cause?
For what?
For every cause?
It's lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause. Again, why are they asking this question? What do we even make? These are the Pharisees. They know the law. Why are they asking this? Obviously, they're trying to trip up Christ. You know what I'm saying? They asking one of the questions that's not really a question. Like they're just trying to get him off his game, right? But they're asking it why? Because the society they're living in is saying what? That you can divorce your wife for every cause. The brother's eyes damn near fell out of his goddamn head when we read the part that they were divorcing their wives if they got an extra housekeeper. Did y'all not peep that?
Yeah, I
If they made a copy of the house key or something.
Or they drink too much wine.
Or they drank too much wine, they was getting the divorce from their wives. Now this scripture makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? A lot more sense. When I first read it, before I came to the truth, it was just like, what do they mean for every cause? What the hell? This is why. Because Rome was saying, hey, she make another key, man. You know, you can divorce her. She was drinking too much wine, man. You got to divorce her.
She can't have another baby, or if she can't have a baby.
Wait, you have sex with her, but she can't have children? Oh no, you got to divorce her. That's a good point. Why? Why would you even need to think about, okay, she can't have children, but I got to get another woman. I got to suck it. I got to get another woman. I got to divorce her. Why is that important? Based on what we're talking about, man.
Because part of the reason why they set this all up was so that they could increase the population.
But right now I'm talking specifically about dealing with this woman. So I'm with this woman. I'm dealing with her. We are intimate, having sex, but she cannot have children. And so because she can't have children, I have to get rid of her. I have to divorce her. Why?
For time's sake, I don't know.
No sweat.
I don't know.
No sweat. Because in order for me to have children, I have to do what?
Get another one.
But in order to get another one, I have to do what?
Get rid of her.
You gotta have a wife.
Well, but what you just said is on, right? That's it. In order for me to have children, the whole point, matter of fact, let me read the end of this little thing right here I got. Real fast. Most marriages were not romantic, but rather arranged between families seeking to maintain or improve family wealth and social status. For the marriage to be legitimate, there had to be consent of the fathers of both families, unless one of the fathers had died, or unless the man had to be married was an illegitimate child. Marriages cannot be forced by the fathers, they can just be annulled by them. This is the part I want. The main purpose of marriage is to produce legitimate, in parentheses, children and have a family. It is worth noting that in the Roman family, fathers had full powers over their children. This was called patria potestas. They could disown their children and even sell them as slaves. This was in Roman culture, right? Crazy stuff. But it says the main purpose of marriage was to produce legitimate children. Right. So if the main purpose of marriage is to produce children, if I sleep with a woman who cannot make children, so waste the time. She's not valuable. So I have to find a woman who can produce children. But in order to be with a woman, but if you remember, what did it say? That's the key part, right? It didn't say to make children, it said to produce what? Legitimate children. So I can't just deal with another woman to make a baby. I can't.
Because that would be a bastard.
Because that would be a bastard. That would be an illegitimate child. If I'm legally married to this woman who cannot have kids, and I go and have kids with her, but she's not my legal wife, it's an illegitimate child. It won't be recognized by the state anyway. So I have to take this sister who just found out she can't have children and bring her world down even more and ruin her life even more by getting rid of her, just so I can deal with this one. That comes from Rome, and it happens every day in America, every single day. You understand? Finish Matthew 19:3.
That wasn't finished. You want me to read 4?
No, that's 12. We're gonna end it with that. You know what I'm saying? So next week we're gonna pick back up. You know what I'm saying? Get more into some of these marriage customs. I mean, so like, don't hold me to it. You know what I mean? This was a 2-hour class. We broke it down real 2 hours. You know what I mean? But we might get back into it. There's definitely more to the history, right? Well, it was really, you want to see how it moves into the Christianity. You know what I'm saying? How that affects us now.
That ain't gonna be hard.
Right, and get more and also get more understanding of the Bible on what real marriage is. We already broke down that sex is marriage, but there's more scriptures that prove it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna close it out with that. Clap it up. You know what I'm saying? We'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? 7 p.m. Isupk Durham. You know what I'm saying? Monday night history class, 2534 South Roxborough Street. If you're in the Durham area, if you're in the Triangle, Raleigh, Chapel Hill. You know what I'm saying? If you in Wake Forest, if you in Garner, wherever you at in the area, you know what I'm saying? These classes run every day of the week, Monday through Saturday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You know what I'm saying? We're a little bit over the time because we started a little bit late. You know what I'm saying? But that's 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? With that, shalom.
I want to give you a courtesy salute.